Okay.
What up, G?
Yes. I forgot that you're gonna do that. So it was like perfect.
That's how I answer your phone.
That's awesome. We just want to welcome
I have,
everybody.
hey, go ahead.
What?
All you.
We just want to welcome everybody to episode 2 of North Node. I don't know what that was, but I like it. Um, and we're just gonna have a lot of fun, talk about stuff. And the first thing that I would like to present is a question. How is
Okay,
how is your heart? That's to the audience and to you.
great.
Yeah. Shall we both answer?
After you.
Well, thank you. My heart, hmm, my heart feels like it can finally settle for a little bit.
Mm.
I've been running around all weekend and it's been good. And this Taurus moon really wants to not run around right now. So yeah, my
Liz,
heart,
Liz and I have our moon in Taurus, but the full moon has been in Libra, and
yes,
so we have been feeling it in our own way.
yeah, that. Yes. The full moon was like in its glory in so many ways. Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot. It's still kind of a lot today, the aftermath of it. And I think it's a big time for release. And I know I'm releasing a lot. We just talked about release right before we recorded. Um, yeah. So my heart is feeling good being settled into this podcast episode. How about you? How's your
Nice.
heart?
Um, there's a lot of sadness coming up for me today, like a lot, and so I'm just allowing.
Nice.
It's
Good.
interesting. We're talking about relationships today, and um,
Oh yeah.
tacos and sausage, to be precise.
Oh no.
Explain a little bit more about that in a minute.
You see me getting
Um,
pink already? Like I'm getting pink.
I see. I'm hiding behind the thing.
You're hiding behind the pink. I'm getting pink. You're hiding behind the pink. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Venus went direct
Mhm.
yesterday after the heightened state of the full moon, and my Venus is in Virgo, and it's interesting that I am letting go of a massive pattern with Virgos in my life. And so there's just a lot of sadness coming up, both in romantic relationships and in family relationships. I've had a lot of turbulent relationships with Virgos, and I love Virgos. They're beautiful, but romantically, me with Virgo is not necessarily the best fit.
Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I get that energetically. So you're releasing a lot and it's gonna clear out space for something beautiful to come in and honoring the sadness of that.
Yeah, I mean, what I just experienced was a gift, and I really allow myself to, what's the word? Acknowledge, be present with that gift, be grateful with that gift, but also acknowledging where there was so much dissonance and resistance. And the body really does talk to you. And if I'm literally doing this, it's probably not,
Yeah.
it's probably not a good fit. If I, yeah, I want my body to do this.
Starfish.
I want my heart to do that. I want to fully embrace and
Mm.
hold myself in empowerment and feel like a woman. And if I'm in the presence of somebody where I'm contracting, it's not a good fit.
Yeah. Yeah, and can we define jalapeno and tacos for the audience? Just so they know. My Virgo rising is coming in, so let's just straight up use anatomy. And yeah.
Wait a minute. So I I'm a Leo and I have a lot of masculine energy. And the way that I wear hair, people assume that I'm gay or I'm queer, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's like, no, that's just not. I don't. You know, there's certain analogies like I don't play for the women's basketball team. Like I love women's basketball, but I don't play for women's basketball. Like I
Right.
so I've come up with the food analogy of how to articulate my sexuality and say I say that, you know, I love tacos, but I just don't crave vertical tacos. I crave sausage.
Yes. Yes, you do.
To be specific.
Yes.
So, and if you really want to get specific, the rest of that saying,
Oh, you gotta say it now.
huh?
You gotta say it now.
I know, yeah. Am I really red yet? The rest of that saying is, you know, to be specific, like I crave sausage con jalapeno to be specific. Like
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it's just like, yep, that's what it does for me. And so
She's a fan of the Latino persuasion.
I am. My first crush was Antonio Banderas, and ever since then I've been like, hi,
Yes,
hello.
yes. And for me, I like the ladies. I'll just say it directly. North Node and Aries, let's be direct. Um or not, it's nice to have both. Both are
It's a fun way of articulating it, especially if you're in
good.
the work environment, like how like when people are crossing a line and asking you, you know, why are you single? You're beautiful. You don't play for the ladies basketball team, do you? And it's like
Right.
you know, okay, how do you yeah,
It's just like, no, that's not correct. Thank you.
right. Right.
Yeah, okay. So we've defined that I'm queer, you're straight, and we're talking about relationships.
Relationships.
Yes. And we got into a conversation on the phone that I think is really cool to talk about on here, which is expectations within relationships,
Yeah.
roles that we play, how the masculine and feminine show up inside of the dynamic. And I used to date men, and I was recognizing that, and I don't want to generalize. And every time I dated a guy, there's this very like unspoken dynamic that I was the feminine and he was the masculine.
Yeah.
And then once I got into like I really owned my queerness and started dating women, I saw that like it just opens up this whole new dynamic where the masculine and feminine can flow in and out. And it's sort of a dance, which I believe that heteronormative relationships can have that. It's just we've been so conditioned to believe that that's how it should be. and it doesn't have to.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And I was married for a bit, and in that marriage, I really started to embody a lot of masculine energy because he was
Right.
in his passive feminine energy. And it created a great deal of frustration for me because it was like being a leader, Leo, and so having forward energy that it was like, okay, well, you're not making a decision, so I'm just going to do it because if I want to achieve my goals in this lifetime, like I have to decide. And so then I became like the one leading the relationship, and I could tell that he was frustrated, but also he was so passive. And it got to the point where, like, towards the very end of that relationship, I could even see in my jaw that I was holding in so much tension. And
Yeah.
I was so angry and frustrated. And I wasn't allowed in that dynamic to really embody the feminine because I was so busy taking care of him and being in my masculine energy. And so when I left that marriage and when things fell apart, it was like, okay, no, I'm not going to hide my spiritual self.
Mm,
I'm not at all. And I'm not going to compromise on my feminine masculine dynamic. It's so much of who I am, and I can't hide the masculine, but also like I really want to truly embody the feminine because that's mostly where I reside.
mm.
And I don't do well when I'm mostly in masculine energy. Like right now for work, I'm mostly in my masculine, and it's like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like it's exhausting me. It's creating an imbalance within me. And so I'm really working hard to allow to
Mm,
allow myself to receive.
yeah.
And it takes a lot of work to pull back to allow yourself to receive.
It does. Yeah, it really does. I mean, we're so conditioned to uh, be proactive about things, do things, and so it's foreign for so many of us, all of us, I'll just clump all of us in there to like allow. I mean, people go to like coaches and therapists and healers to like remember how to allow, you
Mhm.
know? And so yeah, it's exhausting to overly be in one energy all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure plenty of people can resonate with that.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, we got on the other topic or subtopic of like expectations inside of relationships and how within relationships we can put a lot on ourselves and a lot on our partner
Yeah.
when, we have hopefully community friends that we can lean on for various things too, right? But
Right.
we could become so isolated inside of a partnership.
Yeah, there seems to be like a lot of pressure for that person to be your everything.
Right.
And that's not healthy.
No.
It's not healthy at all. Um, um, I mean, just in this most recent experience, like I had this curiosity of, do you have expectations? And he sort of like thought about it and got back to me and was like, yeah, I expect to see you every weekend.
Mm,
And so I was like, okay, I can understand that, to spend time together, especially with how far we're living from each other. Okay, and I realized that I was overriding my physical needs to meet that expectation.
yeah.
And I was wearing myself out. And then some of the complaints later on were like, you're so quiet. Why are you so quiet? Well,
Mm,
I work all week and I'm exhausted and
yeah.
traveling here to see you. It's like it's I'm also slightly more, I don't know, I lean into the nonverbal things. Like my body language
What?
says a
You?
lot, right? Yes, as we established in episode one, that
Yes.
um, I
Yes. Nonverbal
communicate.
ninja.
Yeah, yeah, I just communicate differently.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I would say just kind of connecting with that, there's a lot of aspects that you just talked about, right? Like there's the expectation piece, and then there's this like how is our differences showing up in the dynamic, and how's that affecting the dynamic? And then what's not being said that could be said? I mean,
Right.
how often, I know in my previous relationships, there was things that I didn't say or my partner didn't say, and that's the thing that like caused issues because we just like we held back in whatever way, and then that created distance, you know?
When I think about it, like I was communicating. Like I actually was using like my
Words.
words, actually saying like, listen, like
Uh-huh.
I'm feeling really tired, and you know, in in July it'll be 5 years from my accident. So healing this beautiful brain of mine has taken a lot of understanding of when I hit my threshold. Like when I communicate that I'm tired, it's actually me saying I've hit my threshold.
Yeah.
I cannot accept any more words. I cannot express any more words.
Hmm.
Word finding can be tough. Like it gets to the point where it's like a conversation. It's like the words are just going to bounce off of me. Like my brain has just turned off.
Yeah.
And so communicating that I'm tired before I hit that threshold is it's
Huge.
tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to gauge. Um,
Okay. Um, what's the hardest part about that?
Knowing that I've communicated it so many different times when
Mm,
I before the threshold has been hit, and then dealing with the aftermath of, you know, him feeling frustrated that I'm not actually using my words. But you know that I've had a traumatic brain injury, and you know that word finding is hard, and you know that I when I say that I'm tired, it's like it's all of this stuff in the meat that I've already communicated. And
right.
so like literally he said to me last night, he's like, I need actual blatant communication. And I'm like, I do. I do that.
Done.
I do that. Right. I have done that.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you don't understand. And then I feel super frustrated, like, okay, where am I not? Where am I not?
Yeah. Huh. It's this interesting thing when that happens inside of a relational dynamic. Um, because it's like something gets lost, and then both people don't really fully know where it got lost, but it got lost, right? Like it didn't reach somehow.
And that's the thing, is that like when we were just friends, because we've been friends for a while,
Right.
like when we were just in friend territory, like we were open and honest, like fully transparent with each other. And we are like,
You can
okay, great, we're gonna
communicate.
continue this. Yeah, it's gonna be great. We're gonna continue this, and this is gonna
Right.
blossom, and this is gonna be beautiful. And then somewhere we both of us stopped.
Right. Because it became something different than a friendship.
Right.
Isn't that interesting? Because that I've seen that too for my own history of it hits a certain point and then communication just like breaks down. And you don't know like you don't know you maybe you know kind of like the some of what's going on, but it's still kind of a mystery, but it keeps happening. And I've seen this with couples that I work with. I specialize in couples therapy, and it's like you're watching the conversation and you could hear what's being said, but because of where they both are at on an emotional nervous system level, something's just not connecting, and it gets lost. So
Right.
I've
Yeah.
always been curious about like how did like me working with people and then me also in my own relationship when I get in a relationship. Um, is it like the nervous system? Is it like we're just speaking differently, like different kind of communication styles? Is it like I mean, I'm sure it's multiple things, right? It's multiple aspects of what's happening inside of me, inside of you, and then how are these two worlds coming together?
But I know, know that I'm fully capable of having a romantic relationship with healthy communication because
Sure.
I exist in those relationships of friendships.
Yes.
And so adding in the complexity of sex and sexuality and sexual expression and romantic aspects of a relationship, I know that I'm fully capable of being able to do that.
Sure.
And
You
so
you are.
where and why am I hitting a wall?
Uh-huh.
I just got my own answer.
Oh, what is it? Do tell.
It's
Oh, this is spontaneous creation. I like it.
it's just yeah, it just hit me. It's like I resisted it from the beginning with this person. I wasn't in full flow with this person.
Mm.
I resisted it from the beginning, and that's my answer. That it really is. It
Full,
for
full
me,
flow. Full flow meaning, how would you define that?
like an open heart,
Mm.
um, the willingness to want to be seen,
Yeah.
um, the willingness and wanting to share. Like sometimes, like he would call me, and my inside would go no,
Mm.
and the body she talks to you and
Yeah.
you've got to listen.
Yeah.
And the resistance from the beginning was is the answer.
Mm. So that's also an interesting thing to look at, right? Like reflecting backwards on how what energy, what did you feel in the beginning that was talking to you
Yeah.
that uh we all have a tendency to not listen to that in the beginning. Like that's a human thing. It's like, oh, I want to see if this we're curious, right? I want to see if this will work out. I want to see um how this will go, or I feel like I need to be in this. I want to be in this for whatever reason right now, right?
I
Like
mean, on paper, we match up with so many things. With
that right there, right? Like
yeah,
that's its own like okay, we match up on paper.
right,
This
like an
could work.
expectation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
In your head.
Yes. In your yes.
In your head, it could work, right? Like
Oh, the head.
we do like the
The head.
spiritual aspect, the spiritual development, like we prayed over every single meal. Like those are qualities that in a man, how I want to be led of,
Right.
this spiritual aspect, the spiritual development. Like, if you're not pursuing your purpose, like, what are you doing? Um, but
Right.
you know,
So it was,
it took that 1% that is not a match is so fucking loud.
oh yeah. If it
Is so
if
fucking
it
loud.
doesn't align,
It's
right?
right. You
And
can't force it.
also right, like so we have the mind, the heart, and the gut as
Mhm.
our information, uh, sensory information, spiritual information, like the information that we deeply need to assess as we go. And the mind can be so dominant. I mean, Virgo rising, ruler of my chart is Mercury. I'm pretty well acquainted to the mind. Um, and yet, like when I drop, and you've helped me do this, when I've dropped into my heart and listened to my heart and my gut, those are actually way safer for me. They're way more aligned in terms of like my values and how I want to live my life. And
Yeah.
shout out to my spiritual mentor, for saying, I love this so much. I was in a session with her and she was like, yeah, the mind is the dumbest part of us. Christina, shout out to you. Um, which is true because it only has it can only see a certain capacity and it wants to
Yes.
replay our
Yeah.
past and it wants to predict the future through our past and our past experiences, right? When there's such nuance to life, like,
Right. Yes. I mean, there were so much similarities between him and my ex-husband, but he was like the version of my ex-husband that I always wanted. And so I was like, well, here the universe is gifting me the thing that I
right,
wanted way back when. And so like I would be an idiot to not at least explore it. But
right.
also I'm grateful that I took a shot with this. I was single and, dare I say celibate for a really long time. I kept people at such an arm's length because not only was I healing this beautiful brain of mine, but also like, I went through a really difficult divorce followed by a tumultuous relationship that really like, oh, really shook me. And when you have back-to-back relationships, you want to shut down. And so
Sure.
compiled with the brain injury, I really feel like it was spirit saying, like, just take men off the table and just focus on you, please. Just focus on you. And the celibacy is honestly the greatest gift that I gave to myself. For real.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. What did that do for you?
The celibacy.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, energetically, it cleared out, you know, the residue of all past partners and it really made me focus on me. Like I wasn't distracted by sexual desire. And I wasn't like using sex to like avoid something. It was just me. Um, and fun fact, the brain injury gave me spontaneous orgasms. So it was like, I was totally good.
That's such a
I
fun
went,
fact. That's the funnest fact.
great. And then compiled, but also fun fact, celibacy and when you are um, devoted to your spiritual path
Mhm.
can potentially trigger a Kundalini awakening.
Mm,
And you know, my trigger was triggered by a certain individual, but that combination of being celibate, single, and on a spiritual path, combined with meeting this other person's energy, suddenly ignited my Kundalini rising. And so I was like riding a sexual wave that felt like I was in ecstasy for like a year and a half. So I wasn't missing sex. I was like, bro, I'm on the best ride of my life. Are
You're like,
you
I'm in
fucking
the cosmos and in my body. Got both.
right? I mean, paralleled with like healing this brain and being in constant chronic pain, like
Right.
I was swinging the pendulum of, oh my God, I'm in ecstasy combined with holy fucking shit. Just I feel like I'm in labor all the time. It just with like the amount of nerve pain that I was having, or
Right. Yeah, it was a lot. Can you define a Kundalini awakening? How would you define that?
there is information and that there is not information out there. So when I realized I was going through a Kundalini awakening, uh, it was a practitioner that was like, I think that this is what's happening to you. She's super intuitive, and it was Vanessa, and
Oh, yeah,
she
yeah. Uh-huh.
she could tune into my energy, and she's like, I think that this is what's happening, and it's stuck at your solar plexus, and so I'm I digress. Okay, go back. Um, so uh, when your soul signs up for something
Mhm.
in your soul contract, you're living your life, and then suddenly something happens. It could be a traumatic event, it could be meeting another person, it could be um, you know I don't know, fill in the blank. There's so many different triggers that could ignite it. But once it gets ignited, it travels from the root of your soul chakras all the way up your energetic body.
Mm-hmm.
And it really does clear out and shift and expand your entire pillar of light.
Yeah.
And um, for me, it was really slow. Uh, um, I met this person in July of a few years ago, and I didn't have any sort of inkling of what was happening until maybe November. So it took a few months, and
Mm.
then it was like a year and a half of just immense, intense sexual energy that I was constantly like walking around with. Like it was crazy. And then once it got to my solar plexus, it was excruciating pain. And yeah, it felt like I was in labor for a really long time. And then when it moved up to my heart, it was just like it was easy and expansive.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of like got stuck in my head.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like,
You remember that?
yeah, like it was like just here for a while, and was like, I
Yeah.
don't know what's happening. And then once it sort of left, then it was like, oh, then I could breathe.
Yeah.
And then the energy has been coming back down. And I've sort of kind of lost track of where it is. But I know that it rises and then comes back down. Um, and once you go through a Kundalini rising, like everything everything drastically
Sorry.
changes.
I thought I saw another hawk.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
A
Same.
raven flew over me this morning, and I was like, whoa,
Oh,
morning.
dang.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, and you're right, like everything does drastically change.
I can't go back.
No,
I don't want to go back.
you can't unsee what you
No.
saw, right? Yeah. Yeah. And for you, I know that we've talked about this. You, and you just said it earlier too. You really want to be in your divine feminine inside of a relationship, and not have to overcompensate with your masculine. Is that right?
But okay, so we all embody masculine
Oh,
and feminine.
yes,
Yes,
totally.
yes. I naturally, but also am supposed to reside within my feminine energy,
Right.
like while also balancing the natural masculine energy that I have. in particular in a relationship dynamic, if I feel myself moving into masculine energy or moving into passive feminine energy,
Mhm.
it is not in alignment with me.
Yeah.
And to pull back my energy is really important, really important.
Yeah, that's huge. And that kind of understanding can only be created inside of you. Nobody else can
Yeah,
understand that that's what you need because you feel it
right.
and like there's an inner knowing about
Yeah.
that, right? And for me, like uh, oh, there's Maggie. Hey Maggie. She's
Hi, Maggie.
Should we interview her? Um
Confirmation. So what you're about to say is really important. I'm all ears.
um so for me, it's been an interesting journey with my my sexuality because that's been a platform to help me figure out what energy feels most authentic to me.
Mhm.
And my entire life, I would say, and I knew this on some deep level, that I wanted to be more in my masculine energy. But it was so confusing growing up because you get all of these messages as a little girl that's like,
Right.
oh, you need to wear dresses. Oh, you need to wear makeup. I don't know how many fucking times I would ask my friends, like, teach me how to do makeup because I was trying to feel like I belonged.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yet it didn't feel right for me.
Yeah.
It never did. And I was always a tomboy, always played sports, and that's where I felt most like me. And as I got older, I recognized me trying to force myself into the feminine energy, it just exhausts me and it feels so like inauthentic. And yet, like, as we've had plenty of conversations, and you just said we have both energies, and I've especially the past 2 years I've really honed in on fostering and taking care of my feminine energy, and then that actually allows me to step more into my authentic masculine energy, and that feels so right. And dude, when I got my hair cut like this short, that felt so right. That felt like me.
Yeah.
And it represented my masculine energy. I
Yeah.
was like, "Ooh, this feels right," you know? Yeah. Yeah. And the my queerness helped me navigate that too and figure out like what, because there can be such a fluidity inside of a queer relationship in terms of masculine and feminine. There could be that in all different types of relationships too. I'm just speaking to my own experience inside of that. And it's really cool to like dance that dance with your partner and, one moment you're in your masculine and then the next you're in your feminine and it's flowing in and out, right? Like it feels so nurturing and nourishing to your entire being to flow in and out of those two energies. Yeah. You're looking at me so lovingly. That's so sweet.
I admire that.
If I receive.
Yeah, I admire that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, anything else come up that we haven't spoke to or that you feel like could be spoken to?
I'm looking at my notes.
Good.
Yeah, I think like the unconscious dynamic that we sign up for,
Mm, hmm.
like I mean, I do this all the time, like literally just holding myself accountable of where did I allow myself to be, where did I allow myself to silence myself? Where did I allow myself to override my needs? Um,
Mhm.
just
Can I
to,
can I pause you a second? Uh, I just want to say, like, you're the queen of holding yourself accountable. Like, I have to acknowledge this because I talk about this, and I think the audience needs to know, like, she is so good after every situation. She's like, okay, but where have I dot dot dot? Like, it's such a beautiful thing to watch because it models dropping into your own agency and really like taking ownership of your life, your actions, all of that. So go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry, just wanted to highlight that.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
That started when I was like, oh my gosh, I was living with my uncle
Mhm.
and I was in undergrad and I found myself in a dynamic of a triangle that was really unhealthy and the communication was just like not happening. There was a level of expectation of how I was supposed to show up, but yet when I would try to be myself and it created a lot of dissonance and I was ruffling feathers, just me trying to be me. And what that said to me was I was not good enough just as I am. And so I had to shift and mold myself. Um, and I remember lying in bed at night thinking like, okay, this is not the first triangle dynamic that I find myself in. And so where am I at fault here?
Yeah.
Where am I playing into this dynamic? Sorry, I'm watching dogs and he's freaking out. He's letting me know that yeah. Um, and so I continued this, reflective, holding myself accountable because I don't want to continue making the same fucking mistakes over and over again.
For
Like
real.
I locked myself into an almost decade of this relationship dynamic thinking like, oh, if I worked really hard and showed up, like I could fix my marriage. And
Right.
but clearly
Yeah.
I was just paired with somebody who just wasn't who didn't want to be married. And if I just acknowledge that, like, he didn't want kids and he didn't want to be married, and if I just acknowledge that so much sooner, like, I would probably be in a totally different scenario right now. But I'm not, and that's okay, right? Like, I see it as a gift. It just took a really fucking long time for me to learn it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like super probably a little bit overworking this scenario of okay, but if I see him doing this,
Ah,
where am
uh-huh.
I doing this? Right? Like so
Totally.
I don't want to make the same fucking mistake of locking myself into a relationship where I am stifling myself or holding myself small. Like fuck that shit. Like this is why I curse and this is why I get loud. Like I don't want to
Get
fit
it.
myself into any more
Get
boxes. I'm
it.
so done. I want to be a sexually sovereign female, but like I want to feel empowered and I want to feel like oh, I want to feel like a woman. And I will not lock myself into a relationship just to be paired with somebody if I'm not feeling like a woman. Sorry. I just won't.
Beautiful.
I just won't.
Beautiful. That's so good. I love the passion.
I'm not a Leo at all.
No, you're not Leo at all. That's not Leo tendency at all. It's loud and like passionate.
I mean, speaking of Leo, I had a Leo moment with Instagram today.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I'm
you
gonna call
did. You
myself,
did. Uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna call myself out because one, I'm allowed to get mad.
Yes.
I'm allowed to get mad.
True. That is so
And
true.
something was said last night that really made me mad. And I'm allowed to express my emotions about it. And
Yes.
then I turned to social media to articulate this thing. I never do this, by the way. I
Oh,
never
you
vent
don't.
on social media.
Don't.
But I did this one time because it's
Like,
not just in this romantic context
she's
that
listening.
it has been happening. I know. See, she's got my back.
She does.
She's like overseeing this conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
It, it's also with family.
Mm-hmm.
It's also with some work dynamic. Um, I said I'm going to try and do this without getting emotional.
Oh, you can get
I said,
emotional. That's what we do here.
I know we process emotions. It's really okay if I do.
Yeah.
I said, I cannot express to you how unworthy I have felt because of this fucking TBI.
Mm.
But let me tell you, it has consistently taught me self grace and self love. I'm not comparing anyone to anyone in my past because I'm not. I'm comparing them to how I treat myself now. Level the fuck up. I think I'm also talking to myself though, too.
Yeah.
I think I'm also saying level the fuck up too.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, great. If I'm going to hold space for me with such grace and love and compassion and respect and advocate for myself, right? And for my health, okay, then like that's like the bare minimum bar that a man needs to be able to do to enter into my life romantically. That's bare minimum.
Yeah.
Okay. If you are unable to do that, or if you make it seem like it's uneasy to love me, no, thank you. If it seems like it's a lot of work to just love me for me, especially where I'm at in healing this brain injury, because I'm still sort of like in it just a little bit, like I'm in the ripple effects of it. If you're unable to just love me with ease, because I'm really dynamic. If you sit with me long enough, like I take my poker face off
Yeah.
and I'm really dynamic
Yes.
and I'm fun. I sparkle.
Yeah. Um, you know, I said this to you over an audio memo, and I hold strong to it. There's people who love you and are gonna love you, and it's easy to love you, and you are lovable, and they won't offload something on you because of your TBI, or even if you didn't have a TBI, any challenges, right? Like that's bullshit. You're fucking lovable.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your heart is so huge, and I've only known you a year, and you've added so much to my life.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm so glad that you posted that because you're right. Your anger is is needed to be expressed inside of that
Yeah.
because so many people can relate to it in their own ways, right? Like for you, it's your TBI. For me, it may be my neurodivergence
Mhm.
and my sensory sensitivities. For another person, it might be something else. So it's so important to express anger or any other emotion that relates back to you being of value and the importance of sharing that with people.
Yeah. And I'm somebody who like, I share what I learn. And so I share
Yeah,
my story because, or stories, because I have learned a great deal from them.
yeah,
And that's how I exist. That's
yeah,
what I signed up for. That's what,
exactly.
right? Like being a teacher in so many different ways. That's who I am and how I show up in this world.
Yeah.
And I've navigated some really difficult scenarios where I have had to navigate it solo. And that's been really hard and really scary, or worse, like inhabiting a space with family where you're legitimately scared and you can't like actually be yourself.
Yeah.
And so you're hiding
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I lived with family during the divorce and I was taking care of my grandmother with dementia. Like that was twisted. Like I shouldn't have been put in that scenario. Um, and then healing my brain and living with family again and like
Mm.
knowing knowing that you're walking into a room where they were just talking shit on you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm so sorry that I need help with the basics of shelter and food. So sorry that I'm a burden to you.
Yeah.
So I create such safe space for other people because I know what it's like to not feel safe.
Yeah.
And so thank you for saying that loving me is easy because
Mm.
it certainly has not felt that way for the majority of my life.
Yeah. Well, it's my honor because, you know, the person that you are, the soul that you are is such a beautiful soul. And your family missed out. They missed out on the opportunity to truly see that. And other people, and I know you have other people other than me who do see that. And so that's, I mean, that's the beauty of community, right? Like that's the beauty of having a chosen family who actually loves you and sees you. And it's so healing to all the younger versions of us that didn't get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, dude, yeah, so happy to be that. Are your dogs barking?
Yeah, I'm dog sitting because
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
so mad at
Oh,
me. And Lexi's getting
what a
jealous.
beauty. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well, maybe this is the right time to close this episode out. Um, we covered quite a bit and some really good content. And, you know, just for the audience, uh, this is this is us sharing with y'all and showing you who we are. Because if you ever want to work with us inside of therapeutic theater, uh, we bring a lot of value, and you know what you put in it, you'll get out of it. And we put in a lot because we are super passionate about it. It aligns for both of us in such significant ways. And so if you're ever interested to learn more about therapeutic theater, please reach out, DM us, and we will gladly inform you more of what therapeutic theater is like. Any last thoughts, Lindsay?
We have a free virtual workshop coming up.
We do. Yes, it's on the 19th of April, 11 a.m.
Yep.
to 12 p.m. Come join us. Check it out. And bye.